Okay, class, this is our last video for the moles notes. And this time we are actually doing two-step problems. So we talked about how we can have conversion factors that are molar mass. And you know what? We could actually abbreviate that. A lot of times I do. Molar mass, I'll abbreviate it as MM. Molar mass in grams over 1 mole. Or we could have 1 mole over molar mass in grams, right? So that's two possibilities. I could have this or this. Those are two possible conversions. And then we have two more that we could have. So what we could say, choice number 3 would maybe be 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd particles over 1 mole. Or we could have a fourth option, which would be 1 mole over 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd power particles. So you see we've got 4 different choices. These are a relationship between grams and moles, and these are a relationship between particles and moles. So it really depends on what you're converting from and what you're converting to. Now we've got a couple problems where we're going to have to use 2 different conversion factors. So I'm starting out with 26.5 grams of helium, 26.5 grams of helium. Now there's only one of these choices that would cancel out grams. Which one is that? I hope you notice these are just particles, so there's no gram here. This has grams on the top, so that wouldn't work. And then the second one, conversion factor number 2, has our molar mass in grams on the bottom, so that's the only one that would actually cancel out correctly. So I could put my molar mass in grams on the bottom, and then put 1 mole. And we're talking about helium. Remember, if it's molar mass, we have to look at the periodic table. So let's go over there and find what helium's molar mass is. Looks like it is 4.003. And what I notice is that only gets me moles when I'm looking for atoms of helium. So I'm actually not done. And if I'm not done, that means I'm going to put another multiplication sign and we're going to make another fraction. Well, I already used grams. Now I have moles, so I want something that has moles on the bottom. And I would like to convert to atoms. So atoms, another word for atom is particle. So I want something that has moles on the bottom and particles on top. That would be this conversion factor, number 3. So I'm going to put 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd power particles, or you could put atoms, if you'd rather, of helium over 1 mole of helium. And then we could put that in our calculator. Don't forget, when we do scientific notation, we're going to use the E button. So we start out with 26.5 times 1 over 4.003 times 6.02, second comma is E, 23, times 10 to the 23rd, we put E23 divided by 1, and I get this number over here. Don't forget, you always check the end of your numbers no matter what they are on a calculator. You always check the end to see if there's an E, and if there is, that means times 10 to the power. So I have 3.99 times 10 to the 24th. I know it says 3.985, but I'm going to round up. 3.99 times 10 to the 24th. And my units are atoms. 3.99 times 10 to the 24th atoms. And we have one more problem, and then we'll be done with these notes. So I have 7.653 times 10 to the 15th atoms of Be. It's key that we read our units. Atoms, that tells me I need particles on the bottom. So looking back at our conversion factors, number 4 is the one that has particles on the bottom. So I need to start with that. 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd atoms of Be. And then on the top, I'm going to put 1 mole of Be, mimicking conversion factor number 4. And then I'm going to multiply again because I'm not looking for moles, I'm looking for grams. So I've got to keep going. I have moles, that means I need to cancel them out. Put moles on the bottom. And let's look at which one has moles on the bottom, and what I'm looking for is grams. Grams on top. So moles and grams. Looks like that is conversion factor number 1. My molar mass in grams equals 1 mole of beryllium. So I'm looking for Be. What are the grams of Be in 1 mole? It's right here, 9.012. Be careful with the calculator on this one. Make sure you enter it right. You will get the wrong answer if you don't use the E button correctly. So 7.653. Let's type that in. 7.653 times 10 to the 15th, second, comma, 15 times 1 over 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd, that's second, comma, 23 times 9.012 divided by 1. And then hit enter. Alright, I get 1.14566 blah blah blah. Don't forget to check the end. It's E -7. That means times 10 to the -7th. So let's scoot it over so we can write that down. We're going to put 1.1. Let's check our sig figs. There's 4 sig figs. So 1.146 times 10 to the -7th. And my units should be grams of beryllium. Double check that answer again. 1.145 rounds to 6 times 10 to the -7th grams of beryllium. That pretty well wraps it up. You should be able to do any mole problem from this unit now. Make sure you try out the practice. Let us know if you have any questions.